Hey everyone, welcome back to The Hidden Brick, where today we're doing part 4 of the build of the Lego Technic bucket wheel excavator. This is how far we made it in 3 parts. So if you missed any of those parts, check them out, they're down below. There's also a dump truck part that goes with that. So this is going to be a big portion of the build. We have a lot of parts. There's a lot of big parts, but then there's also a ton of friction pins and other smaller axles and bushings and connectors. So needless to say, this is going to be a fairly long video. I appreciate everyone that watches all my videos and, you know, sticks around to the end of them to see everything that's being built. This is definitely a series that you could play in the background while you're maybe sorting Lego or doing kind of mindless type stuff that you like to have something playing in the background. This is a perfect thing to listen to or watch while you're doing that. It's definitely something I would do if I'm sorting Lego. It's actually what I do. When I sort Lego, I usually have something playing in the background. Now, I will say that I do so many Lego related videos that it's actually hard for me to watch other Lego related content, but I do occasionally. So we're getting into some of these smaller bits. And until a lot of these start to get used up, I just have these in big piles kind of off to the side, so it's gonna be a little adventure trying to find all the pieces as I go. Alright, so I have these axle pieces there. That goes there. And these are 2 axles with the 2 long pins. That will slide in right there. Okay. So I need a 9 long. There's an absolute ton of these rectangular frames. Alright, so here's my 9 long piece. Bunch of friction pins. Even some friction pins that were in another bag. I'm going to bring them over to my friction pin pile. Okay. So this piece will slide in. There we have a lot of pins trying to line up with this one thing. So it looks like we got them all on there, and it should look symmetrical like that. So we're all good. Next up, we have 6 of these. I don't know what they're called, but they're these things. Yes, 2 of them will go here. Turned like this. 1, 2, 1 more. Good. So we're on page 114 of 550 if you're following along at home. We're about 20%. It feels like we're further along. And I'm sure as we get more towards the end of the instruction book, there's going to be fewer pieces per step. And it may actually speed up a little bit. It's kind of deceiving at first. It's like, oh, we've barely made a dent in the instruction book. But we're on bags number 4 of 8. So I would say after this bag, we're officially about halfway done with the set. And for those of you watching at home, this is the 4th day in a row that I've posted this series. But through the magic of movie making, I'm recording all of this so far in one day. I'm hoping to finish this entire build in 2 days, basically over the course of a weekend. I've been taking breaks in between the recording because this is definitely doing a number on my fingers. The pins and everything, they hurt. All right. So this piece goes here. So, kind of wondering what that is for. It's just a gear kind of hanging out on the end there. All right, so we're going to use one of our frame pieces. We have a pulley wheel and a 5 long axle with a stop. Put that there. We're going to slide a red pin bushing and then a thin yellow bushing right there and slide this all the way through. Oh wait, hold on. Let's back that up. Got that bushing on wrong. The yellow bushing goes here first. And then the red one goes over that axle. Pull the axle out a bit just to get it in there. Come on. Okay. Now we're cooking. So we have a 3 long, single, 3 long. That piece, this piece here. That will attach just like that. We have a little wheel. Skip 4 holes, put a friction pin, another one there. And this looks like the last one of these particular parts. Okay, so we have 2 of these 9 long pieces. I have one of these pieces and these guys. All right, so we turn this over. And it looks like this piece slides over that. And we're going to slide some axles in that have a little stud at the end. That'll help hold all that together. A 2 long lift arm. We don't get many of those. It's kind of a rarer style piece. Right, so we flip this back over, and this will slide in right there. A 11 long lift arm. So they do give you a little 1-to-1 diagram of each one of the lift arms that you can put it right next to it and verify that you have the right one. I recommend using it. They put it there for a reason, and it's extremely helpful. I use it all the time, like I just did right before I started putting these pins in. The shorter ones I can usually tell how long they are. It's basically the number of holes that are in it. Sometimes the longer ones, instead of counting, I'll just look on the, or lean it up next to the diagram. All right, so we have these clutch gears. Let's see, it's just gears that are spinning freely on those non-friction pins. And this will slide in right there, right there. So those are turning. Once again, remember, anything that turns, it's a good idea to make sure that it still turns once you put it in. All right. Two of these pieces that are going to be identical. Bushing and a bushing. These will go in those axle holes. We have our 5 long lift arms. That will go there. And 2 more of these pieces over the axle and pin. All right, I'm gonna move that to the side. We have a little sub-assembly to do. So we have some axles. This axle will go here, another half bushing. Two of these pieces. So we're going to put this axle through. Has that black bevel gear on it. Two more half bushings. Next we have a red axle. They used to not make the axles in red or yellow colors. It was all black or gray. But I guess they did some sort of study and found that differentiating the colors by the lengths actually helped people. In my opinion, it doesn't need it, but we're just going to go with it. All right, need another of the L-shape thin lift arm. Where is it at? It's hiding from me. Where did I get the first one from? Which pile of parts was it in? Come on, guys, help me out here. I'm not seeing it at all. This is frustrating. I did this in the first, actually I think part 2 of this build, where I was looking for a part and I realized I actually didn't need it. But in this particular case, I do need this part. It's not a optional piece. Now, I will say that of all the Lego builds that I've done, and even before I started doing videos, I've never had a set that's been missing a part. So, odds are I'm just overlooking it. I don't think it's missing. but we'll see. When we get towards the end, and if it shows up, then I'll know that it wasn't missing. But if it doesn't show up, this could be making history. The first set I've ever received missing a part. All right, so we're on to the next frame portion. This is going to have a small, thin lift arm in here, along with a pulley wheel, friction pin. We have a 3 long pin that's not pushed all the way in, and then a pin with a axle hole. It's also not pushed all the way in, and one more pin not pushed all the way in. So what we're going to do is line these up and push all those parts in. We have 4 of those friction pins, this L-shaped lift arm, that piece there. Some more friction pins. And 2 more right here. Next we have 2 axles with stops. So we're going to take this piece, attach it right here, and this lines up with the axle holes there on that we saw from the top side, and you can see those axles now stick up through there. All right, next frame piece, we have the next axle with a stop with a half bushing. Pulley wheel. And we're going to put a worm gear in this one. So we have to line up the hole, push it all the way through. So you've got that worm gear in there, you can see it spinning. Okay. Go there, and we have some more friction pins. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Not there. Move it over 1 more. There we go. Okay, so there comes a point when you're building this that you just kind of get tired of looking at all the friction pins, all these pins and axles, but there's really no way to get around it. They're a critical element needed to build the Technic sets. Oops. Okay. Those 2 pieces go like that. It's getting a little big. I'll move that to the side so we can keep this all in the camera. More of these frames. There's an absolute ton of them, not only in this bag, but in the whole set all together. Put one there, put one here. Now we have 13 long pieces with friction pins here. We're going to do that piece and that piece times 2. So I was saying in one of my previous videos for this series that this is definitely one of those sets that if you want a good assortment of Lego Technic parts, then this is definitely the perfect set. There's so many good parts in the set. You get a good assortment of gears, you get a ton of pins and axles and lift arms, all kinds of good stuff to grow your Lego Technic collection. Oops. Why is this not? Okay, I put that on the wrong side. Next one. Two more of these thin lift arms. We're getting closer. We're about halfway done with this portion of the build, or this bag of parts, I guess you'll call it. So now we have these lining up with all of the pins across this. Just like that. We have this bent lift arm. With another pulley wheel. And half bushing. Make sure it turns, that's real critical. And it shows this piece sliding over these axles. And like that. Kind of interesting. So you can see we're kind of creating this array of pulley wheels all the way around this thing. I guess those are going to go on the inside track of that large turntable we built. Not quite sure yet. So we have some 2, 4, 5, 2, 4, 5. So these 3 long friction pins. Regular friction pin, and then this pin joiner with a perpendicular pinhole or axle joiner. Okay, so it shows the hole of that piece sliding over the exposed axle, and then we're going to push these 3 long friction pins in there. That's going to kind of what hold that together. All right, so the other side is basically going to be the same little construction. We have the pulley wheel, and we have a half bushing. Make sure it turns. Turn it around like this. It shows this piece through there. Slide that on. Our axle joiner here. Once again, same thing, we have that exposed axle right there. We're going to put that through the hole in there. once it's in there, push these pins down. You can see right there, it is on there on both sides. So we're all good there. That piece will go there. Another 15 long lift arm with 2 friction pins on it. Shows it going there. Alright, so we've got this turned. Or do we? How's this working? Okay, I see. So we line that up there, push that in. Another one for the other side. Three long. 1, 2, and 3. Now it's showing a, hold up a second. Back here, I was supposed to have a friction pin in there. So I caught it soon enough. I was wondering why it didn't have anything there. It's because I forgot to put it on there. So we've got, let's do this one first. We have 1, 2, 3, and then a friction pin right there. Another one of these L-shaped lift arms, and they're actually putting little boxes around each step because it's actually getting hard to figure out where all of this stuff is going. So they're trying to give us visual clues to help us with this, which is getting to that point where it's definitely needed. So we have a few gears attached to the axles. Two more right there and right here. So those turn, but these two light and dark gray ones are actually not touching. And this piece will slide down here. Now we have a large gray axle. That piece. This one will go here. So this one will actually interlock with that smaller gear. You can see it's turning just fine. Let's see, a 7 long axle. There it is. I'll slide on that piece. And we have a clutch gear. So we have another one of these clutch gears, or sometimes they're called slip gears because they don't have an axle hole in them. They actually have just a pinhole. So while you can turn this one, because it has an axle hole, this one actually spins independently. So you can have two different things moving through this same axle. Kind of interesting. Put two more slip gears or clutch gears right here. And then this piece will go right there. So you can see each one of these things moves independently, even though they're kind of interlocked together. All right. So we have this T-shaped piece, very long axle with a stop, tan bevel gear, and then we're going to put another shorter axle with a stop through here. Attach two of these light bluish gray gears. And this piece go all the way down. It's trying to interlock with a couple different gears. So we're good there. So you can see we've got two different points of motion there. Everything's still turning. That's a good sign. Nothing is being bound up with anything else. All right, so we have another long axle with a stop. Before I put that on, let me get two of these non-friction pins on. It'll help me determine to make sure I get this in the right hole. Slide that all the way on. Two more slip gears. Piece will go there. Another non-friction pin. One more slip gear. Now we have two of these thin lift arm pieces that are going to slide over the middle portion of this gearbox. Hold all those together. It's getting a little tight, but I don't have anything on there pulled real tight or pushed real tight, so it's just how it's going together, I guess. All right, so we have that lift arm, and then we have another lift arm here. This one also is going over some of those gear pieces to help hold all that together. And this is kind of where we're flying through the instructions, because there's basically like this page is two pieces. It's just those two. And then the next page, it's basically two more parts. So I have this and this. That. Turn the page. And then this page, we're going to turn this guy around, and we basically just have this one part. So, what I was saying earlier, it didn't seem like we were very far in the instruction book. We're definitely making up time now as we're as I kind of predicted it, we're going to just do a few pieces per step as we go. Let's see what's going on here. This looks like it's just kind of hanging out. Not really connected to anything just yet. So it shows these being turned like that. And we're going to put some 3 long friction pins in there, and that'll hold them in place. 2, 3, 4, and then 2 regular friction pins right there. All right, so we'll move that to the side. We have another sub-assembly to do. So we're going to start with one of these frames. Oops. Add our connection points, aka friction pins. Two more of these T-shaped lift arms with friction pins on them. I have a 3 long axle. It's one of the shorter ones. The 2 long is the shortest. And then we have 2 of these 8 long axles. We're going to slide through these pinholes and attach to that yellow axle joiner. Just like that. Now we have these linear actuators with the little frame piece that connects them together. We're going to put the 2 long axle through there. And the 2 long axle is the shortest axle that's made. And this is the 3 long. We're going to put a black bushing on there. And then it shows us rotating this out a certain distance. They show a 1-to-1 diagram, and you can actually also just turn that. But anyway, we're going to do 2 of them. The axle and the black bevel gear. We're going to rotate that out. And you want them rotated out approximately the exact same length. So what we're going to do is slide these through. But before you push it all the way through, we need the bevel gear. Oops. Come on. The axle is so long, it actually wasn't lining up, and it pushed this piece off. Okay. So this one, be very careful. You have to have the bevel gear on the exact same side on both sides. So you can see right here, they're both on the left side. One is not over here and one's not over here. They literally have to be on the same side. And they make that pretty clear in the instructions. So, with that being on, turn this around. And these 2 pieces line up. Snap on there. piece in the middle. Then we have two of these guys. These are kind of rare Technic pieces. We don't see a lot of these. We're going to slide that in, line it up, push that friction pin down. That will hold both of those linear actuators together. So next we have 4 of these, 3 long friction pins. 1, 2. Here's 3 and 4. So we have all that interlocked together. Now this piece slides over and connects to the top of those friction pins that are sticking up. Gotta wiggle it, line everything up. This one over here is not lining up for some reason. Come on, there we go. All right, so we're gonna bring this piece over. I'm gonna rotate it exactly how it shows it. Slide this in there, and we're actually connecting the black, so the turntable under here, these black pieces are gonna line up with those red pins that are sticking out, along with all the other gears and everything. So once you have it in there, you should be able to slide those together. Rotate it around, those two are exposed there. Alright, so it's to that point where it's critical to make sure that what you're building lines up with the picture in the instructions, because it's getting pretty big and complex and looks confusing at times, I guess is the right word. So we have 4 pinholes exposed before we put this piece on. And we have the other one, the other side. 2, 4. That one will go there. We have 4 more of the 3 long friction pins. We're basically putting 2 on each side, but we're not pushing them all the way through. I'm just gonna go like that. All right. Move that to the side. I have another little sub-assembly to make. So I was warning you earlier, this portion of the video is going to be long, and it's definitely living up to that, but we're getting close. I'm starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel for the pieces for this bag, as they are slowly starting to disappear off the table, which is a good thing. A lot of times I judge that by how many friction pins are left. Getting close. All right, we have this axle piece with a pulley wheel, thin bushing. And we actually have a wheel and a tire. gonna go in here with this yellow axle, the axle joiner at the end. And on the other side, we'll put this black bevel gear. Oops. Oh. So it shows it not pushed all the way in. So you can see how it moves back and forth. Rotate it around this way. Bring this piece back over. What's going on here? Let's back up with the step. That looks right. All right, so you kind of have to put it in like this and then rotate it over. And then we're going to push the axle in. Oh no. Oh no. It's not what you want to hear. This little piece in here is supposed to be rotated. I may or may not be able to fix that. All right, we're gonna have to take a break while I figure out how to fix this. Okay, so I was able to get in there and fix it. I basically had to take a few things apart and go in there and turn that one little piece 90 degrees. And no matter how much I was preaching it earlier, about paying attention to the instructions, it, you know, never fails. I was still messed up. So, lesson learned, pay attention to the instructions. All right. Have another gear piece there, and 4 more of the 3 long friction pins. They're just going to be hanging out the side here. Let's see, we have a 3 long axle, and I just noticed, here's that piece that thought I was missing earlier. It must have been under my sticker sheet or something, because it's now appeared out of nowhere. Alright, so this whole little assembly piece goes here. We have a gear that's going to go in between here with an axle. And this axle is actually holding that gear in place. It's actually not going to turn at all. We push this here, and then we push our 4 3 long friction pins in there. We have the 11 long friction pin, 11 long lift arm with a friction pin. That one just hit the ground. That'll go there. We have our 3 long lift arms here. So we have these 3 long thin lift arms, this piece in here, and then an axle all the way through. Another 11 long lift arm, and this piece will go there and have this piece on it. 2 more pieces. This long piece through. And where's the other one? 1 more. 3 long. Lift arm. It's one of those things that it's right in front of my face again. Oh, there it is. It was actually hiding under a part. All right. So this piece attaches there. All right, so we have another turntable. So we take the 2 halves, put them on there. Put these 3 long friction pins on the gray portion. It does matter if it's on the gray or black, so don't skip that detail. After I'm done with this part 4 build, I'm definitely going to be done with building for today. This has done a number on my fingers, and hopefully by tomorrow I'll be able to rebound and build some more. All right. Come on. Couple more axles. Slide through there with a black bevel gear. Squeeze those on there, just like that. 2 4 long axles on this axle joiner. This is where I messed up on that other part. I need to make sure that that hole is facing the right way. One, 2, 3 holes exposed. 2, 3. Piece goes there. This is one of my favorite parts as far as connecting to these pieces. It actually fits so well in there. It's like I wish all the Technic pieces fit that easily in. Everything else seems to have a little bit of more friction than quite necessary, but that one little H piece definitely fits the best. All right, another one of these frames. Dropping friction pins again. This piece goes right there. Have our 15 long lift arm there. So this piece goes like this. We need to make 2 of them. So that's our first one. All right, we're definitely getting close because we're using the last of some of these parts. So there's our second one. The way this goes is one here, one there. Oops. Like that. Got to match the picture. It's not that hard. those two friction pins. Friction pin here, friction pin here. Wrong piece. Right, so we have a sticker. We haven't put a sticker on in a while, but it calls for one now. It calls for sticker number 25. It's basically going like that. Two of these pin bushings on here. We're going to slide this selector piece on. An axle and a bushing. Another frame with some more 3 long friction pins. Oops. Forgot to put this piece on there. So now we slide it in there and push those pieces together. We're all good there. Last 2 of these pieces. Where you turn this over like this, put a 15 long lift arm, slide that on there, and that's all sandwiched between another 15 long, just like that. And we have 8 more friction pins. Uh-oh. Let's see here. Oh. Something's not right. Okay, I see what I did. Let me back this up just a little bit. Didn't have that all the way down. All right, so now we can do our 8 friction pins. It's basically 4 on each side. Pretty simple. Another frame piece and some more friction pins. Got 4 of these pins with the little axle joiner. We'll put these little axles with pins on them. So we have our selector gear. It's going to slide in this piece. I have a red slip gear and a 5 long axle. Kind of line all of that up and slide it into that white piece. I have another red slip gear and a 4 long axle there. That will connect to that U-joint, and then this piece will snap down. The only thing you have to be careful with is to make sure that that red selector piece lines up with that gray slot in there to allow you to select everything. So with it all together, turn it around like this. Bring this guy back over. Moment of truth. How's this going to line up? Looks like it all lines up pretty well. Okay. Just getting a little worried there, but looks like we're all good. So we have another one of these T-shaped pieces there, and we have a black bevel gear there. Let's see, we have some more pins on this piece. Two of those exposed, the black piece, and then this 11 long. All right, so where are we at? Over here. This is going to attach just like that. This piece, 3, 1 and 1. That'll go there. These two pieces, one on each side. For these pieces, and these should line up perfectly with everything. So for the other side, it's going to be a similar little connector piece. Should line up with everything. There we go. That one goes there. All right, so we have another 2 of these large turntable pieces. And I'm going to put some of these pieces through. Let's see. Did I put that on the wrong way? So it appears we're going to put this on the underside of this side. We have a few stickers. We have sticker number 5. It's like a warning stripe sticker. And sticker 23. Looks like a warning you're gonna fall sticker. Put that there. We have another one of the warning stickers. This is one of the smallest stickers. Sticker 12. Another warning sticker. All right. So it appears this is going to go just like that. That looks good. It's getting pretty big. bring these over. Looks like we have another 2 times build, and we should be done with this portion of the build. I really dislike these thin lift arms. They're actually really hard to put on, and they're a finger killer for sure. It's this detail that makes it tricky. All right, switch those on, goes there and there. Where are we at here? Turn this like that. Okay, there it is. So we have that piece with the pin sticking up, and those go in there. Okay. So next up is 27 friction pins. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, and 27. Let's see. Skipped. Okay. Actually, I had one too many on that one side. Okay. So all those friction pins are on. So we're going to take these 13 long. Oops. One other thing that I forgot to put on is this one called for a 3 long right there. So 2 of these 13 longs. 2 of the 15 longs. All right. And one more friction pin there. Looks like we're going to put that piece there. Two more friction pins. This will slide through and hold that piece on. Have a bushing black bevel gear and 2 of these red pieces on the ends of the linear actuator. All right, so that finishes part 4. It was a massive undertaking, a lot of steps, a lot of parts. The part that I thought I lost, but I didn't, and we're all good. So I appreciate you guys watching. If you watch this whole thing, then you're awesome. Put a comment down below, let me know. Love my dedicated fans. Don't forget to check out all the other links I have in this video, and we will see you in the next one.